Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I'm going to be starting off my Premiere Pro guide. I'm the Gaming Stag, and today I'm going to go over the basics with you. So if you've just picked up Premiere Pro and you've no idea how to use it, I'm going to get you up and running with the basic stuff. Creating a project, importing, sequencing, some tools, some effects, and exporting. The basic stuff you need to get yourself up and running. First of all, we're going to do a name. So I'm going to call it tutorial test. Let's put it tutorial test. Now, this location should be the default. It said it should be on your C drive, but I have mine installed on my D drive. So it's going to be Documents Adobe Premiere Pro 10.0 for me. This is the CC 2017. If you have a slightly different version, it might not be the CC. It should work very similarly. It might not look exactly the same. So here it is, Documents Adobe Premiere Pro 10.0. Okay. I keep all this the same. Okay. I don't mess with it whatsoever. So we've called it that. I'm going to click OK. Now that file explorer I just showed you, it's now appeared in here. This is the Premiere Pro project, a .prproj. Okay. So here we have a blank project. Here is going to be where your project's going to appear, where you visually see it. It unfolds. This is your timeline down here, which we are going to create a sequence for. Here is your kind of effects and different helpful things that you'll enjoy, including your import. So all your media will appear here. Okay. Your effect controls are up here, your sourcing, and of course your audio. But you can't really see any of that. So let's create a brand new sequence. We're going to have a file new in sequence. However, you can import media and drag it across there. My recommendation, do it this way. I'm going to call it tutorial test. Whatever you want your video to be called. Okay, now I usually record and edit at 1080p at 60 FPS. We're going to do that the same here, although we don't need to, because I'm not going to be running this at 60 FPS Premiere Pro, because I don't need to. I need it at 30, which it is doing. So actually, let's do that. 1080p, 30 FPS. Boom. Okay. Just to be relevant. So, our sequence has now appeared in our project, our media import section here. And as you can see, we have a black box because we have no media. We have 4 tracks, audio tracks now, that have appeared. And we have our effect controls, but of course no clip is selected, so we cannot view those. Let's import. Want to import, we can double click here. Now bring up the dialog menu. You can hit Control I, or you can go File, Import. Okay. As I have a gaming channel at the same time as doing these type of videos, I'll be importing some Overwatch footage, as I recorded about a week ago with Strangely Tired. Okay, so we're going to drag this onto here. Boom. It thinks that pop-up message right there thinks it's at a different resolution. That's why it says, do you want to keep the existing settings or tailor it to that setting? So therefore we have our footage, right? We have our footage right here, and we've selected on the image. As I said, we need to select it on effect controls, and we can do all sorts now. We can position it, we can scale it to our pleasing, we can rotate it, and we can do an opacity, right? If you wanted to reset these, there are these arrows at the end, which, as it says reset parameter. So we're going to do that. There we are, and it resets it to its original form, which is very, very useful, I've found. When it comes to tools, I use the Select and Razor tool. Select tool lets you drag it across and reposition everything to your liking. The Razor tool cuts places. So if I wanted that chunk out, I could do that and click on delete, and then go back to select, which I've already done, and do that. If you're not familiar with the shortcuts, then just hit the select tool, which is right at the top there, and the razor tool is that there. Okay, the razor tool is C and the select tool is V. They're literally right next to each other on the keyboard. Remember, that is Windows. If you do YouTube and you wanted a specific frame, for example this frame, as a JPEG, you can click on this button here and you can export that frame to anywhere in your file explorer, wherever you want to keep that. Say you wanted it for a thumbnail, that is quite useful to know. Obviously that's your play and your stop. Now these step forward and step backs goes in frames, so every single frame, I've just used the arrow keys there, and you could tell I was going frame by frame. So if you want a specific place, that's what you use. You use this to go right to the end of the video, and this to go right to the start of the video. Okay. Obviously this tells you how long and where you're at the moment. Next of all, I'm going to be going over your audio. So here are your tracks. I have 2 tracks because I record one for my desktop, one for my mic. Okay, and I can alter these by literally doing the slider, altering the slider up and down, and that's essentially it. Now you may notice there are various, we're going to go back to the timeline here, there are various V tracks and A tracks. So we have numerous audio tracks and numerous video tracks. Now if you wanted to tidy everything up, you could right click over here and click on delete tracks, and I can delete all empty tracks or specifics if I wanted to. Delete all empty tracks, click OK, and that tidies this right up. Okay, if you're one of those people that needs a tidy workspace, then that is opt. If you wanted to add, say I wanted to add a webcam or some sort of other kind of visual or even more audio, like background music, right? I would do the same, but go to the add tracks and then select how many video tracks and audio tracks I want. Click OK and it will add them. Of course, you can just do add track, and what it will do is add whatever you right clicked on, it will add that or that. So I right clicked on the video track there, so it added a video track. If I did that on the audio track here, it just added an audio track. So you could, that's 2 ways to do that essentially, if that makes sense. That is generally what you need to do to get started up. Now there's going to be one final thing: exporting your video. Now there are 2 ways of doing this. When you have Premiere Pro through Creative Cloud, it gives you the option to download Media Encoder. Media Encoder is very, very useful piece of software. If I can spell media. Here it is, the Media Encoder. It is essentially an export for every single Adobe package. After Effects or even Premiere Pro, Flash, you can export it via the Media Encoder. Of course, I can export this video once I'm selected, and we will need to go to File, Export Media, or Control M, and that will bring us up this dialog window here. Make sure your format is on H.264. that is the best for the best quality. Okay, and everything, you shouldn't really need to touch anything. Now down here it says estimated file size. Now if you think that's a bit too big, you can alter your target bitrate. Just put it down to 8 for example, and it'll put it down to, it's now 1292 megabyte, which is 1.2 gig, that's quite big for a video. The maximum bitrate is the maximum that's going to export at, so 12 megabits per second is quite good. Target bitrate, of course, the lower you put this, the lower this frame size is going to be. Now you can click Q, or you can click Export. Clicking Export will export it within Premiere Pro. Queuing it will bring it into here. I have no idea why that's still in there, because that completed it. It should automatically delete. If it doesn't, just delete it next time you bring it up. And I can click play and it will start rendering it. So in this menu, you can click on here and decide where exactly you want to place it in your file explorer, and what to name your video. Because sometimes, as I explained, when making a sequence, you can drag media into this and it will create it. The problem with that is if your videos, right, are dated like this, your video, your sequence and your video when you're exporting it will be called that, and you'll be like, what's that video again? So you kind of want to name it to what it is to be a bit organized. So it's a very easy way to do that within the media. You just click on it and you can rename it within the dialog box and where you want to save it, and then you'll click play, right, and it will render it. Now it's starting rendering. Of course, I have quite a good PC for rendering, so this is going to be pretty quick. What it will do first is it will prepare the audio, and then it will render it out as it does, and it will give you an estimated time. It will give you even for my computer, it will give you a starter of around a couple of hours, and then it will rapidly fast and go down. So mine is a 21 minute video, so I reckon it'll go down to around 20, possibly 18 minutes worth of render, and that's pretty good. Of course, it depends on your processor and graphics card, depending on how fast it will render. So now it has started the render, and as you can see, it's going down pretty quickly. I'm going to pause that, I'm going to stop that as well, in which you can pause it and then play it again, or you can stop it completely. Guys, I do hope this has been a very helpful video for you. If there's anything that has not been clear, let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to help you out. Please like the video if it has been helpful. Comment below if you have any problems, and if you'd like to see more videos like this one, make sure you're subscribed. And I'll be seeing you in the next one. Take care.